here to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, hanging out with you where sports truly meets that thing called life. We appreciate you being here every Monday through Friday between 9 a.m. and 11 a.m. Eastern Time, and it is always my honor and my privilege to be here with you where sports meets that thing called life. Always love having the opportunity to speak with the community, and I have had the pleasure of having Bruce Williams on the show with me here before, as well as Casey Brown. They're going to be joining me momentarily here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. Bruce first, and then Casey will be joining me around 9:45 a.m. Eastern Time. Bruce Williams playing for CBA here in our community, and then moving on to play for the Syracuse Orange, and serving now back at his alma mater as the offensive coordinator, wide receiver, and DBs coach for a CBA football team that has won yet another title as they move forward here in the 2023 Section 3 Class AA championship that they just won at the Dome, and now they'll move on to states. They have Elmira this weekend on Saturday, 6 o'clock, down in Vestal, New York. So very much looking forward to everything that is to come with Christian Brothers Academy, and always appreciate all the time that they spend here on the show. Inside of MonPazPopcorn.com is what's popping, and we'll round out the show in hour number 2 around 10:15 a.m. Eastern Time with our bi-monthly segment called Blessings in Baseball, where we talk about God, faith, and the nation's pastime. And it just so happens, and this is how awesome God is, Gunnar Henderson, who is a friend of my co-host for Blessings in Baseball, Dukes Knutson, he won the Rookie of the Year in the American League from the Baltimore Orioles, and my Arizona Diamondback, Corbin Carroll, just won the NL Rookie of the Year. So we get to celebrate that today, and I very much am looking forward to that. So Bruce Williams, Casey Brown will round out the show with Blessings in Baseball. So let's bring in Bruce here, picture in picture, and always love to celebrate, like I said, what Bruce is doing, what he has done, what he continues to do here in our community. So Mr. Williams, how are you?
Hey Dan, thank you for having me. I'm doing pretty good today.
Absolutely. And Bruce, I mean, kind of just to get started on your journey, because you and I talk about this so much on the show, is the fact that, you know, you're raised here, you grow up here, you go to CBA, you set a bunch of records at CBA, those records, a bunch of them still holding here in New York State. Then you move on to Syracuse down the road, and then you come back to CBA to be a coach. Just what you can say about your love and your genuine belief in this community to not only have your journey and your road as a student athlete, but to come back as a coach and to try and pave the way for other student athletes.
I try to use my story as inspiration to young students, student athletes from our community, to just inspire them to be themselves, to go out, work hard, um, get a goal, get a dream, chase it, and never let anybody get in your way of that. So, me getting the opportunity to go to CBA, then go to SU, coming back, Coach Brown, thankfully gave me the opportunity to come back and coach at CBA. It's just I'm able to now use that vehicle of football to drive home my message to the young youth in our community.
And when you're working to drive that message home, what are some of the things that you key in on, that you focus on, that you think the kids need to hear in today's world?
The biggest thing I try to focus on, we have youth that want to be great, right? They want to do great things on the football field. They want to be the best athlete they can. And I try to get them to understand the same lessons that you learn in football, the same drive you have in the game that you love, you need to apply it to life, right? You can't be great in football and not great in anything else, right? It all correlates. You have to be the greatest son you can be. You have to be the greatest student you can be. You have to be the greatest person in the community, right? Just don't think, hey, I'm just trying to be great at football and that's it, right? It tends to leak into every aspect of your life. So that's something that I always drive home, because what I notice with myself and just others, hey, if I miss that assignment in the classroom, I'm more than likely to miss my assignment on the football field. If it calls for me to make a block and I'm lazy, it's also reflects in if I'm handing in homework on time or if I'm lazy with that kind of aspect. So I tried to bleed these same concepts that we use in football and apply them to everyday life with these young students and get them to understand greatness
Aspect.
doesn't
So
just turn
I
on,
try.
turn off. You know, you look at guys like Michael Jordan, you look at LeBron James, you look at Tom Brady, they tend to be great at everything they do. And that's something that I have students strive. It doesn't mean you're going to ever accomplish it, but you're going to be better off in the long run when you continue to try to chase greatness and understand that it's a everyday life, everything. It's a way of living your life.
Yeah, and like you said, you can't be something somewhere and then not be something somewhere else in your life. It we are creatures of habit, right? And there's good habits, there's bad habits, and habits are created over a period of time. There's that 21-day rule, that 3 week rule, that it takes 3 weeks to create a good habit, takes 3 weeks to create a bad habit, but you can destroy that habit, good or bad, the same way. So you put 3 weeks in, you try to push that into your life, or you pull it out of your life. And that in one area of your life, and it's funny because people talk, for my business, because it's very much because it's me, right? And you understand this, like you're your own brand, so you might be a coach, but you're Bruce, and what you do as Bruce, it carries into everything you do. I'm a broadcaster, I own a multimedia marketing company, but my name's on the door, and so it's very much with me all the time. So when people talk about, like, I did somebody dirty personally, but professionally we're good, or I did it professionally, but personally we're going to be good. And it's like, no, because all that stuff bleeds, because who you are in one place is who you are every place. And I think it's great that you take the time to say to the kids, like, yeah, of course, we want you to throw touchdown passes, get interceptions, do your job, do what you need to do. But at the same respect, if you're not in the classroom handling your business, then that's going to bleed over back and forth, because effort is effort, and consistency is something that I think is lacking in today's world. But those that can provide consistency in a positive way, I think, are the most successful people, is the people you can count on.
Correct. I know this past summer, I got the opportunity to talk to a youth program as well as CBA for orientation. And one of the first things I talk about, and I just use simple, I call them the ABC rules of life, right? A is for attitude. That's the way you think. That's your mindset. B is behavior. That's the action. And then C is character, right? And with character comes first impression. You only get one of those. From there, your character is always determined by the outside factors in life, people outside of yourself. They get to decide what your character is, not you. So if somebody tells Dan, hey, Bruce isn't the best of person. And then Dan goes and says that to 10 other people. And now my character now says that Bruce isn't the best of people. So the outside world determines who your character is. It's not you. It's the way people perceive you down the road or outside of who you are. That's the character now and your label around. So I always tell students to think about that, right? And why is first impression important, right? It's the only time you get to get someone else to figure out who you are in a positive way. So understand that first impression is the most important. So if I show up to a job interview and I don't have a tie on and I look like I'm just coming from the bar, that impression to the world is, oh, he doesn't care. So I always try to go through those three things with students that I work with as well.
And I got to give a shout out, because I could see him looking out the window right now, because I love my dog. So, what kind of dog do you have? Name? I wanna have a little shout out here.
Yep, this is Georgie. He's a mini golden doodle. Yeah, he's my best pal. He's the protector of the house, but he's a mini golden doodle named Georgie.
Awesome. Well, shout out to Georgie. Much appreciation. I'd be remiss if I didn't ask, because I know that the football team is a family, but you have a family as well, and would love to know, because I think, again, in today's world, it is so important to remind people of the values and the things that truly matter. So, how is your family doing? How's everybody? The Williams group? How's everybody holding up here as we head into winter?
The family's doing great. My wife Elena, she just got a big promotion up at Syracuse University working on campus. So shout out to my wife Elena. She's definitely the leader of our clan. And then my three children, Helena's my 8-year-old, Emma's my soon to be 6-year-old, and my son Bryce is 2, but they're all doing great.
Well, good. I'm happy to hear that. And to the football family that extends out this family for you, a 2023 Section 3 Class AA state title. Your team has been incredible all season and has had no issue in scoring, no issue defensively in a lot of ways of shutting other teams down. Do you feel like this team has become complete offense, defense, special teams? Are we seeing the best version of this CBA unit this season, or are we still yet to, as we get set for states, are we still yet to see the best version of this team?
I think Coach Brown the other day after the game addressed the team and told them what we all believe. We have not yet hit our best, right? We have not become our best versions of ourselves, which gives us a lot of room for growth still. And Coach Brown oftentimes talks to us, hey, understand we have room for growth. So I don't think we yet have hit our absolute best. Now we've had moments where our defense has been great, right? Our defense has had multiple games of shutouts, multiple games of turnovers. They've won the turnover battle in every game this season. And that's just a shout out to our defensive coordinator, Brian Bruno, on how much he focuses on attention to detail, picking up cues from other teams, things of that nature. And on the offensive end, it's a collaborative approach between me, Coach Battaglia, Coach Brown, and all the rest of our coaching staff. Coach Collins, our running back coach, we all work together. And most people see, hey, Bruce is the offensive coordinator, but I'm getting feedback from all of our coaches during the game. When they see something, hey, coach, we might want to do this, I take that all into account. So from the offensive side, it's a collaborative thing. We are very balanced this year. We're on the verge of having 2,000 yards throwing the ball and 2,000 yards rushing the ball,
Yeah.
which is a big accomplishment for us. So we're pretty balanced. And I think Coach Brown even pulled up the stats. We're somewhere around 32 passing touchdowns, 31 rushing touchdowns so far this season. So we've had that balance on offense, whereas in the past, I use experiences from when I was here, right? We just threw the ball over the place, right?
Yeah.
Now we're at the point in our offense has evolved to that point where we can be very balanced, both through the air and on the ground.
We talked about the fact of keeping, letting this team know that there's more to be done. Like you said, the message from Casey Brown, the head coach, that we expected to do some of these things, we expected to be here, but there's more in the tank. There's more to be had. There's more to accomplish. This team is 11-0. How do you keep a team focused when you know it? I mean, there's times where you can start feeling yourself, right? Everybody's talking about us. We're good. We're in the newspaper. So how do you keep them locked in?
I think that's actually coming from within the players. I think we have really great leadership across the board in our program with Sire Torrance, Jason Brunson, Jameer Hanford, Porter Matt, all the way down to some of our freshmen who are on the varsity team leading their group. So Coach Brown is really into giving a lot of ownership to our players. As he often says, we can just give them the blueprint, but it takes the players to build this thing out. And I think we have great leadership in that sense that they are not complacent with where they are, right? They're not complacent with what they get. When sometimes we think, hey, we can put up the points and we don't, or hey, we're not throwing the ball well enough and we rely on our run game. Our guys go back and they talk amongst each other and kind of figure things out, and they bring those things to Coach Brown, who address it with us. And hey, we need to focus on these things, or we have our leadership, saying X, Y, and Z. But most of the times, they kind of handle that inside the program and kind of make sure, hey, nobody's bigger than the program, nobody's going to go off and do their own thing. And it comes right down to the way we dress, right? When you see it, if you actually pay attention to us, our game day attire, everybody wears the same thing. Nobody's wearing their own color cleats, their own color socks, things like that. And our leadership kind of take pride in that and saying, hey, we're a team and we're going to go out looking like a team, win, lose, or draw.
Here with Bruce Williams, a CBA Syracuse offensive coordinator, wide receiver, and DBs coach, following the 2023 Section 3 Class AA title and heading towards states. You said when I talked about how does this team stay locked in, how do they stay focused, you said it comes from within them. Why are they so responsible? Why are they so focused? When you say it comes from them, it's a beautiful thing to hear that the coaches don't have to kind of chase you around and corral you and beg you to do the right thing. But why is it coming from within them to go a little bit more into who these young men are on and off the field?
Well, I think for a lot of them, most of them, they have dreams and they have goals, right? Coach Brown talked about it again 365 days ago. We've been at this. And I always share the story with people that Saturday that we lost that game against that weekend we lost the game against CNS. Coach Brown and I were thinking, you know what, we're going to give them a month off. We're going to let their bodies rest. We're going to, go ahead and give them some time to digest, get back. Within 24 hours of that loss, I had guys like Sire, Jason, and the guys saying, hey, coach, we don't want to wait. We're
Mm-hmm.
not waiting. We don't have time to wait. And we were back at work that Monday after Thanksgiving break, and they've been going ever since. And that's just the drive that they have, knowing, hey, we know what it feels like to win a state championship, right? Most of these guys who are seniors were sophomores and freshmen at the time. They know what it takes. And last year we fell short. So they're like, hey, look, we came really close. We were 2, 3 plays away from that game, blowing it open in the first half. That they felt that and they know that and they just wanted to put the work in, and then they started bringing these younger guys along. So now expectation is to do these things. That's the expectation, is to be there, be present, be ready to give 100%. And that just again comes from the kids who have felt how to lose, right? We've had years where we were not that good. These same seniors were on those teams.
Yeah.
And then for them to feel success, they've built that up and understand this is what it takes.
And like you said last season, and I was at that game, losing that game to CNS, and you said, let's give them some time off, let's give them a break, let's let this kind of, you know, find its way out of them, and then we'll get back to work. And the guys are coming to you, to the staff, and saying, no, we're going back to work right now, we're getting back to it right now. I mean, you've seen what it's like to have success. You've seen what it's like to watch a team grow and evolve and become something special. What was going through your mind and heart when you saw them come back to you, come back on the field, and say to the coaching staff, we can't wait, we have to just keep going?
To me, that felt like the era I played in. That felt like how I came into school, and those seniors like Tim Lee, like Tim Brown, like some of those guys that were ahead of me, EJ Jackson. That was the mode when I walked into school at CBA was, hey, expectation, there's a standard.
Yeah.
And we don't lower our standard for anyone. We're going to rise to the occasion, and it's either you get with it or you get out, right? And a lot of kids rise to that occasion where we've seen huge growth from everyone across the board, from starters to guys who didn't know if they really wanted to play, who now have made such positive impact on a program on and off the field. And it just again goes because like-minded people want to be around people with the same mindset, right? So you want to be around people who want to do great things, and these kids really build that amongst each other. And then the last thing I've really noticed was throughout this process, the kids are hugging each other, the kids are saying I love you, the kids are hanging around each other, and it just gives you that feeling of a family. And Coach Brown again always says that faith, family, and football, those are our key pillars to our program, and our guys really run with that. They hang around each other during lunch. They're looking out for each other. It's great that during that time in the off season, we had seventh and eighth graders working out with our varsity kids. So now those young kids are learning what it takes to be in a program and keep those kids as intrigued. So when you get to see a guy like Vasi come back and work out in the same weight room as you, here's a guy who was just drafted to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and he walks in with a CBA, school colors on, his school shirt, and it now gives a sense of pride. So we had all of that happen this offseason to help kind of build this culture.
And I mean, you talk about, and this is something that, we live in a microwave society, right? You put something in the microwave for a minute and 59 seconds left, you're like, why isn't it done yet? Where you're telling me this season was built off of last season, how you felt having that opportunity to take time, choosing not to take that time right after Thanksgiving, getting back on the field and saying, no, we have to do this. And then building that culture of like having those, like you said, seventh and eighth graders that are already learning. This is what it takes. This is what we do. This is what it looks like. To have Servassier Dennis on one end, a guy who makes it to the NFL, and then have the youth of seventh and eighth graders on the other end learning this, to bring all of that together into one room while this team this season fights toward a state title, and you have alum in the NFL, and you're building with the younger kids that you're going to be coaching in the not too distant future. There's all of these things going on, and that family dinner table is getting a little bit bigger. That environment, that culture, I mean, you're building a program as opposed to building a singular team. And I'd love for you to expand on that a little bit.
Well, that I think even goes deeper into who we are as an institution at Christian Brothers Academy. It's that same feel from our administration, our faculty and staff at the school that they want our students to be great. They want to push them, they drive them to do their best. And we just follow that mode of what President Keough has set for the school, our faculty, our administration sets for our students, regardless if they play sports or not. So I think that just goes deeper into the program, the school, the institution, on how we carry ourselves. Football is just a branch of what the institution does, right? So for us, you see these kids make those same strides in the classroom. When Coach Brown and myself get and Coach Bruno, all of us get, many messages from the faculty and staff on school. Hey, I had Sire Torrance, he sits in the front of the class. He does all of his work. He leads by example. Hey, I have Darian Williams. He's doing the same thing. It's a great feeling to know that, hey, these students, right, these students who are there for school first are executing that plan in the classroom. So I think for us as a program, it even goes deeper into what the school does for the students, and we just follow that same creed that the school wants all of us to follow. But it then helps, I always, funny story, last week, before the Liverpool game, we were walking through the school with a couple of the guys and Coach Brown and myself and about 11 guys. We're walking through to go back into the building when we were cutting through the cafeteria, and we were interrupting the seventh and eighth grade lunch. And then all out of nowhere, the seventh and eighth grade, the middle school, just stood up and started cheering for the guys. They started cheering for the upperclassmen, and it was not staged. It was nothing but the middle school kids were just cheering and clapping. And it was an amazing feeling to see that these middle school kids didn't get cued. It was out of nowhere. And our students, our upperclassmen were looking like, what is this? And it was just a sense of pride coming from the young kids that, hey, they see our older kids doing great things. And it was kind of an honor to them. But it was such a cool feeling. I've never felt that ever. And I just thought it was a cool experience to even be a part of that and seeing that the middle school students really take pride.
Well, and when you were at CBA and you and I went to school at almost exactly the same time. So, I remember, and I tell people this all the time. I'm like, there was my class, we had 127 students, and then you and LeVar were right behind me. So I know that time. We were so used to winning that I didn't even have to think about it. I didn't think about who we were playing. I didn't think about what week it was. I was like, if we lost, it was strange. So you saw those times, you saw that success, and then there was time of adversity, and there was time of, CBA being in different classes, and what are we going to do from here, and how are we going to build this back? How did CBA go from being so successful when you and I were in school to now getting back to consistent success, not occasional success? How did all this happen?
It took a lot of work. It took a lot of work again from administrative standpoint at the school. It took a lot of work and time and effort into the kids to really give back and dive into it. And I share this story again. I like to share stories. Me and Sire Torrance have been working together almost 5 days a week since he's been in the eighth grade. So for me, knowing and understanding, here's a kid that came to me as an eighth grader and said, Coach, I want to be great. And he set that standard and I hold him to it. I call and I'm like, hey, we're going to work out on Sunday. He's there. He's done all of the extra things for himself to get himself to where he is today. And it's not by luck, it's by hard work. And again, it reflects in the classroom. Same thing with Jameer, same thing with a lot of these guys. Or 2 years ago, I had a sit down conversation with Darian and his parents. And I said, hey, I have a vision for a kid like this, but it's going to take extra. It's going to take a high demand on a kid like Darian. And I just wanted to make sure that they had the same vision that I thought he could have, I thought he could be. And the parents and the kids said, yes, hey, I want that. I want to be held accountable to that sort of standard. And he's been thriving in that situation. And that goes for a lot of our students. Porter Matt, same thing. And it doesn't matter who you are, it's that standard that's set. And I think we got away from that standard a little bit throughout the past, and we've gotten back to that. And it took a lot of us alumni to come back, like Brian Bruno, like myself, like Gideon Dixon, Kyle Robinson, a bunch of us to come back who were successful in the past here at the school to say, hey, this is how we do things. Hey, this is what we need to do and why. And giving the kids why and teaching them how to be successful. And I think that's where the culture is today, is you just can't say, hey, go out and be successful. They need the tools. They need to learn how to do it. They need to know the steps. They need to walk through the steps. Then they need to jog through the steps before they can hit it running. And that's something Coach Casey Brown says to us every day. Our whole setup almost every practice is, hey, we're going to have a quick walkthrough. Let's explain why we're doing this. Hey, we're going to have a light jog through. Let's tell them why we're doing this before we can actually go through and do a game like. And those are still values that, I saw when Coach Kaz was here. I'm seeing them with Coach Brown as our head coach. Same kind of format on why and how to be successful. And Coach Brown really sets that tone for us when it comes to the program and his expectations for what he envisions with the program.
Why is he the right fit, and why do you continue to stay at CBA?
Um, I know he's the right fit because, again, of family, his value of faith and family first. There's times where, hey, I might have to be late because I'm home doing homework or I'm dealing with a family matter, and it's always handle family. We can hold it down. We can do these things. Or hey, we need to make sure kid's not feeling well. Hey, he missed school. We should have 3 or 4 people reaching out to him to make sure he's all right. So Coach Brown really sets that tone for us in many ways outside of football.
And for you, why stay? Why continue to be a part of CBA? I know it's your alma mater, but with all the talent that you have and the different things that you do, why continue to work at CBA?
Um, I always go back to I was given an opportunity, and I share that story with opportunity to meet brother Kevin at the time, who at that moment I walked in by myself and said, "Hey, I need a way to break the cycle in which I live. I need a way to break this, and I will do anything." And he gave me the opportunity under one condition: I couldn't miss school. He goes, "It's not a lack of you don't know how to do it, but the situation you're in is going to cause you to do more." So he gave me that opportunity under that condition. And in 4 years at CBA, I was one of only 2 people to never miss a day of school. Me and the valedictorian of our class never missed a day. And it was knowing that I have a great opportunity um, presented to me at that time of being only 13 years old. I lived up to that. I wanted to make impact and change in my own life, what ultimately led to my family making changes. And Brother Kevin and the CBA administration gave me that opportunity. So, again, I try to say, hey, that opportunity was granted to me, and I now pay it forward to the students at CBA and in the community. I do a lot of work with student athletes that aren't at CBA in the off season to help them improve their game, kind of install these um, same values into those students that don't go to CBA and what it takes to be I'm great in how to do it. And I'm hard on our kids and I'm hard on students I work with. And I hold that standard and I never waver from it. And that's why I'm still here because of those values aligned here at CBA from an institution and a program. And that's the reason why I stay. I have kids who have and want to do great things like I did. And they drive me to try to be the best person I can be. And that what really motivates me to stay here.
Here with Bruce Williams, a CBA Syracuse alum, as well as the offensive coordinator, wide receiver, DBs coach, following a title in Class AA for 2023, Section 3, and moving on to the New York State's hopes of a championship here. Bruce, you just brought it up. You did great things when you played. Share with everybody who doesn't know the records that still live on for that you set so many years ago.
Um, Yeah, I believe I actually have four now. So a couple of weeks ago, I was added on X Corp, formerly known as Twitter. There's a kid in the state of New York who broke my all-time receiving yardage record of 3,400 recently. So now I only have four, which is great to see somebody go after that record and get it. So I have four still left. I have receptions in a career, I believe yardage in a career. Um, what else do I have? I have a couple of other ones. I honestly don't even remember. I know one that I'm remembering because I got a young man who's close to getting this record of mine, Sire Torrance, of receptions in a career. So I'm at 227. I think he's 30 shy away from that record. So I share that because that's a goal of his over the next 3 weeks to try to get. But I have a couple of other ones I try. Honestly, I don't remember a lot of them, but I know that 3,400 one was just broken because I was mentioned on X about that record.
So the thought of Sire receptions in a career, the thought of him breaking that, just what that means, and the irony and excitement of the fact that you set the record and now you're helping to coach somebody who could break that record.
Well, it just goes for him personally. Again, going back to his eighth grade year, he always told me he wanted to be the best receiver to ever come out of CBA. So I said, hey, if you want to be the best, you got to beat the best, right? And him and I go back and forth all the time about it. And I said, well, according to that statistical records, I'm the best, right? When you look, my name's there and it drives him. He drives him in positive ways to understand like, hey, I can make an impact. And he's done it for almost 5 years now in that instance of making an impact, being a leader. It's not always about, getting a ball. And that's the thing that he's learned over the years is, I don't necessarily have to be the one that gets 16 to 20 catches in a game to impact the game but he always says, "Hey, I'm going to get it. I'm going to get it. I'm going to get it." And he's close, And also, we take into consideration him and I. He sat for 2 games this year, right, to heal up and get himself back ready. Where could that have made an impact in his record already, or the fact that he wants it? But for him, he plays the right way. He's not forcing himself into spots in our offense to try to get the ball. He plays the game the right way. He leads the right way. But him and I do know he's close, and I tell him all the time and we joke, here's the deal in life. People only remember who's first and who comes in last, right? So him and I joke about that. And is actually a few years ago, his freshman year, he broke actually one of my records, school record of receptions in a game. I was at 15. I have a couple of games of 15 in his freshman year. He actually got 16 in one game, and he walked up to me at the end of the game and goes, "There's one of them right there, coach. I got a couple of more that I'm going to get." So him and I, we share a very strong bond, him and I together, and it shows. It shows a lot.
Yeah, and I'm sure for you it's kind of surreal and rewarding to be the person that set those records and then to have that playful banter back and forth because someone has come along that has been so very good and so very focused, like you said, working out multiple times, 5 times a week with you and going through this process of consistency that we've been talking about, that consistently doing what you need to do, creating good habits, getting yourself in a rhythm, walking through, jogging through, running through so that you can get to where you are. Everybody wants to be successful, but very few people want to put in the work. And we see the young men and young women at CBA doing this all the time with the football program. I have seen, and I love this because you and I are proponents about recruiting the state of New York, recruiting central and upstate New York. I put it out there all the time. I have been bashed for it, yelled at for it, condemned for it, God, whatever for it. But I said, I was like, if the worst thing that I do in my life is support the children in my community, I'm going to continue to be that. So I know that you're a proponent for that. You and I talk about it all the time. And this year alone, I have seen so many schools, so many logos, so many names, a giant long list that have come to CBA, and offer upon offer, regardless of the position, offensive line, wide receiver, quarterback, defensive back, and so on and so forth. I'd love for you to share with people what recruiting looks like for Christian Brothers Academy right now, because Central and Upstate New York has had teams coming from all over the place, and I am elated that something that you and I take on our chest every single day, everywhere we go, that vision and that hope that we have for the community is happening. And we're starting to see it come through for the CBA student athletes for sure.
Yeah, I think again, I go back and give Coach Brown a lot of credit. He's put together incredible staff here at CBA of guys on the staff that are very knowledgeable of the game of football, who has also played at high levels. You know, when people look at our staff, we have Coach Leroy Collins, who played at Louisville. We have Ryan Jones, who played at Cincinnati. You have Gideon Dixon, who played at Brown. You have myself. You have Coach Joffrey, who's still around on our staff, who's been connected for years and has tons of connections. You have Coach Bruno, our defensive coordinator, who is connected. So for us, we utilize those connections when we help our students recruit, but we also understand what today's game is as far as recruitment for student athletes. And the biggest thing, as you mentioned a little earlier, is the brand. Being able to brand yourself in a way to make yourself marketable to coaches at the next level. And Coach Brown again said it last night, love the ones who love you in this recruiting process, right? So don't ever turn a cheek to anyone, because you don't know that Division 1, 3 coach can be at the Division 2 level next year, or it can be at the Division 1 level, and he wants to recruit you. So for us is understanding that. We also do seminars and symposiums where we have our guidance counselors come in and talk about what the NCAA requirements are and how to get to those. And for us, we also teach our kids. Coach Bruno did a seminar this summer for our student athletes. When a coach comes in, how do you shake their hands? How do you make eye contact? What do you say? How do you say it? Make sure you're speaking clearly. And we do, you know, role play with our student athletes to get them to understand that on how do you do these things to better prepare yourself for when these coaches come in. And then the biggest thing I often tell the kids is when the opportunity comes, be ready. Again, I share my experiences. For me, when I was at CBA, I always looked at the recruiting process different. It wasn't that I had to go out and beat the team we played. Again, that was a standard. And hey, if we play our game, we should be competitive. We should be in the ballpark of possibly winning this game.
Yeah.
My thought process was, hey, I had 2 guys on my team that were considered really great players, right? Greg Paulus, one of the best in the nation. LeVar Lobdell, one of the best in the nation. My thought process was, hey, I just need to show on video I'm better than those 2. That's all I needed to do was put on video, hey, yes, who's 7? Hey, who's 1? But who's that number 5 that CBA has? And that was my mindset. So for us here at CBA, and we kind of tell our students what to say, how to say it, why you're going to say these things on social media. How do you market yourself? So if you look at my ex and you go back for the last 5 years, I've been doing this for 5 years or so consistently with our kids. And most of the times, our students aren't able to post a clip or post anything without one of us seeing it When I say one of us, Coach Brown, myself, and Coach Bruno, looking at the film, we might have them adjust some things. We might say, hey, instead of saying this, think about saying this, giving them the tools to market themselves the right way on social media. And we take pride in that. I can tell you, our student athletes know we play on Friday night. By Saturday before 1 p.m., my text messages is flooded with the films. Hey, I want to look at it. And I tell them, hey, you only get 60, 90 seconds to make an impression on this clip. Here are items that you need to have per position in that first 60 to 90 seconds. And we kind of go through that and we show them that and we promote it. Hey, retweet yours, retweet your teammates, get it out there because Thayer does a great job. He has a following, and now other people are getting a following, and it kind of puts us out there. And then the last thing Coach Brown makes sure we do is we get everybody an opportunity to get film. So when we're up in games, we're getting other guys who aren't starters in the game to get them film as well. So Coach Brown really takes pride in that of saying, hey, pull these guys, let's get these guys in, get them film because we never know. 11 weeks down the road, we might need one of these guys to play a pivotal role in our game. So that kind of helps in our recruiting as well. But for us, we're really trying to help our kids brand their marketing for themselves. And we actually give them a lot of ownership on there. So if you look at their X profiles, you'll see their emails, you'll see their contact information. And we tell our students, you need to be reaching out as well. Don't leave your recruiting 100% up to us. We do expect you to tell us what's going on, and if they're reaching out, who and why, and keep us informed. So we put the ownership back on the student athlete as well to take heed and take pride in their recruiting process as well.
Well, it sounds like there is a lot of things set in place. It sounds like there are teachable moments. There's time taken. It's not just willy nilly do whatever, let's see what sticks. It sounds like CBA Syracuse has taken the time to almost give a class on this is what we're going to do on social media. This is what we're going to do on film. This is how we're going to carry ourselves. This is how you shake a hand. This is what you do when you look somebody in the eye. These are the things you need to say. You need to speak up. You need to be clear. This is how much time you have to make an impression. All of those things you said to me need to be taught. They need to be taught. There has to be classes, has to be moments. Yeah, you have practice for football plays, but you also need practice for life. You need practice for what their future is going to look like because there are thousands of student athletes reaching out to these coaches. And what makes the difference is that honesty, that integrity, that shake your hand, look you in the eye, and being clear about your message, who you are, what you do. I know who impresses me. And then I also know the ones that are easily, you kind of walk away and you forget. So it's a beautiful thing that you're doing that as a staff, and I want to commend you for that because that system is going to be something that you can plug and play with any class that's coming in, which means that CBA will be continuing to not only have that bridge, but to be able to walk across it every single year instead of just sometimes. So thank you for doing that with the kids for sure.
No, I appreciate it.
So with that being said, Mr. Williams, I never like to say see you later because I always love talking with you, but I will be following you through states and definitely paying attention to everything that's going on and support the team as always. I'm so happy with what you guys are doing. I'm happy with what you are doing in the community, in and out of CBA to help kids all of the time and to remember where you came from and adversity that you might have went through and you didn't forget those times, and now you're helping kids through their own. So thanks for not forgetting. Thank you for caring, and thank you for being one of the people in the community that's got a megaphone out there like I do saying Central and Upstate New York is a pretty amazing place to find some really wonderful young men and women. So thank you times infinity for caring for everybody now and in the future. I mean, wins are great. Championships are great. I hope you get it. At the same time, taking care of these kids, I mean, that's our legacy. So thank you truly for paying it forward.
Thank you, and I appreciate you having me on today. It's a blessing to be on with you, and I greatly appreciate it.
Well, we will talk soon, and I hope Sire breaks your record, and at the same time, I hope you get to keep a couple for yourself still.
Yeah, yeah. We're gonna try to get it within the game. So, all
Sounds good. I'll talk to you soon.
right, have a good one.
All right, you two take care. So
Bye.
with that being said, here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, where sports meets life, Bruce Williams joining the show. Podcast coming up in just a moment. We're going to have Casey picture in picture, and always a pleasure for me, always an honor for me to be able to celebrate these moments and to celebrate them with fantastic coaches and student athletes, and to celebrate them in our
Recording
community.
in
CBA is
progress.
my alma mater. I grew up in Syracuse on the north side. Central and upstate New York is my home.
Recording
The state of New York
stopped.
is my home. So, I mean, all of this means more to me than I can genuinely say. And I love the fact, and I mean it. And people know when I say something, I say it with my heart. And one of those things that I say with my heart all the time is how much I appreciate the coaches and the student athletes that really care about our community, the people that give so much, those people that sleep as little hours as I do, and I love that, and I genuinely cannot thank them enough. And one of those people that gives so much of his time and so much effort on his part and cares so deeply and is one of the good ones in our community, and somebody that I'm honored to not just call somebody I know, but I call him a brother, and he calls me the same thing. So, I mean, you got the CBA brothers historically, but this is family to me, and that is the head coach of the CBA Syracuse football team, Mr. Casey Brown, who joins me now picture in picture. Casey, how are you?
Good morning. How was everybody?
Happy to have you here. Happy to be here with you, and congratulations, first and foremost, on a 2023 Section 3 Class AA title. He played in the title game last season and against the same team in CNS, and had the opportunity today to make new history, and or this week, I should say, to make new history, and you did exactly that this past Sunday. So congratulations, first and foremost, on another state title.
Not yet.
Pardon me.
Sectional title.
Sectional
Easy.
title. I know what I'm
Easy.
saying.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. I know what I'm saying. I'm prognosticating. Congratulations on a Section 3 Class AA title.
Thank you. No, I appreciate the positivity, and I might just be able to drive the bus a little bit, but the kids that we have in this program and the coaches that we have, they're the ones. They're the engine. They're the wheels, and we couldn't do this without so many great families within our staff and with our kids. But it's just a blessing to be able to lead this program.
And Casey, you and I have spent so many years talking about what you and your staff are working to do and what you want, not just this season or 2 seasons down the road, but every single year, that culture that you want, that environment that you want. Do you feel like it's there? Has there been a system put in place that you feel has been able to start to kind of work and run, and you come up in the morning and the machine's already going? Do you feel like that culture, that environment, that consistency year in and year out is happening here? Are we seeing that now at CBA?
So we need to go backwards before we can go forwards.
Absolutely.
And you have to be able to learn from your struggles. You can either, develop something and have a plan in place, or you can give up. And several years ago, we were struggling. There's no doubt about it. And we sat down together as a team, as a staff, and said, okay, this is what we need to do. We came up with a plan. And it's not a quick fix plan. It took a lot of effort, took a lot of time. But what you're seeing right now is a positive program that's moving in a positive direction. Now, to be able to continue that, the plan is still in place, and we don't stop working. So we're very happy where we are right now. We understand that we need to continue to work. We're gonna work where our feet are, and live to go 1-0, as Coach Bruno would say. We're gonna go 1-0 today, and make today the best day possible.
What is it about what has been built and continues to be built at Christian Brothers Academy, something that has been built historically, and then you and your staff putting your mark on this vision as well, because you said you have to go back before you go forward, right? So as we go back into the history of Coach Kaz and we go back into the history of CBA, what back there and what now kind of blends together? Do you feel a blending of ideals in any way?
Oh, absolutely. There's, the culture, the positive culture, and the Lasallian values, kind of combined in terms of that, and it comes through the development. Coach Kaz, when I was lucky enough to come join the staff, taught us, in terms of a lot of things, in terms of development of a student athlete. It's not just the field. It's not just the weight room. It's the classroom. It's the entire human. So, we want to make sure that we take these young men and turn them into, successful adults, successful fathers, successful professionals. And, through these runs, you hear from alumni that have played for you in the past. And, just in the several days, the number of individuals that have reached out to me that are successful men in different business areas or just professions and fathers, that's where I become proud. And they start bringing back some of the things where, even when I was a modified coach, and just some of the values that I've instilled in myself since day one, and you hear from these individuals, and that personality of myself has carried through. I can't be Coach Kaz. I'll never be Coach Kaz. I'm going to be Casey Brown. And but what I can take is some of the core values that CBA instills in all staff and students and administration, and try to embed them in our program. So, we try to take care of the entire student. We make sure that their grades are on point, because that's only going to help them in whatever secondary college level they want to get to. And we want to make sure they have the best opportunity in front of them. And, that's, again, we're not just talking about Division I athletes. Majority of our kids are going to go and play Division III. But we tell them, if you want to go play football, let's have a conversation and let's see where the best avenue for you is.
Yeah, and speaking here with Casey Brown, CBA Syracuse head football coach, following the 2023 Section 3 Class AA title and heading toward the New York State playoffs this weekend. Something I spoke with Bruce about right before you came on is the fact that, and you talked about preparation and getting these kids ready, we've seen an influx of recruitment in the area. And you and I have talked about this. And my hashtags that I put out all the time and beat the drum and wear on my chest, support CNY, recruit New York. We have seen so many schools come in to this community and come into Christian Brothers Academy. I spoke with him on what you do. And he talked about everything from teaching how to shake hands, to looking somebody in the eye, to what you say, to what you put on social media, how you edit your videos, how accessible you make yourself. Just what you could say about really, essentially, teaching a class in connection with the football program that gives them all the tools that they need to get recruited, to put themselves out there, and to succeed. Because I feel like any type of model that's going to provide consistency of a message and give them all of the tools in their tool chest to be successful, this is something that we need to share, because it is no mystery. It's not just something that happens by chance that we see these schools come into Christian Brothers Academy. But I would love for you to go in a little bit deeper to everything that you do as a staff to prepare them, because it's so multi-layered, and I think it's crucial to their success.
It starts with grades. It starts with their transcript. It starts with making sure that they're accountable for the actions within the classroom. We want to make sure that they're getting their assignments in, that they're maximizing their prep time for an exam. So that's number one. Without your transcript, without a positive transcript, your recruitment is going to be limited. So that is, we can do all the classes, we can be in the weight room, we can get all the yardage that we want. It's not going to go anywhere without a positive transcript. You have to be a recruitable athlete. So for me, that's the number one step. So we work tirelessly with these kids, with the teachers, with the guidance counselors, in terms of class structure, making sure their grades are in order. I talk to teachers all the time. I'm on them constantly about it, and they know that I'm always watching. So that's the number one thing. After that, yes, we did. Coach Bruno ran a great seminar in terms of recruiting. What we're looking for. We talk to and have the students understand. We talk to these coaches. They come in to evaluate these kids, but then they actually have to go and promote these kids in front of the head coach, who have numerous assistants that are promoting their recruits. So what makes our student athlete more favorable than somebody else at that table when that staff is talking about kids? So we talk to them about, okay, a film should have a checklist of things. This coach needs to see these certain things in your highlights. Not everything has to be a touchdown, and not everything has to be sparkle and glimmer. So the coaches are looking for specific information in terms of that. Then the next thing is getting the coaches on campus. We have a very good record of having recruitable athletes. They understand when they come here, our transcripts are clean, that these kids are going to have the grades. So then when we get them on campus during those evaluation periods, and they're able to see them during the different periods in the NCAA, we'll have them come in the weight room. We'll have them come to practice if we're practicing, and they can actually see them performing and working out, and they can get a size to these student athletes. And then obviously, the development, they understand that we are developing these kids in the weight room, on the field, and in the classroom, because at the higher levels, once these kids take visits to schools, they're going to sit down with a coordinator or the position coach, and they're going to be tested. They're going to be tested on their knowledge. And when I first came to CBA, it was a light bulb moment for me. We had a great athlete, unbelievable athlete. One played Division I and under Kaz. And I was in the classroom with him, and I asked him to draw up a defense for me. And he drew up circles and X's. And I was like, all right, hang on. Draw me a 3-tech, draw me a 1-tech. And he just looked at me with a blank stare. And I realized, this kid doesn't understand defenses. And from that moment on, myself as a position coach at the time, I needed to do a better job in terms of teaching the game. I came in assuming that they knew all this information. So we never assume. We're going to teach everything that we do, from a handshake to eye contact to what a 3 technique is, what a coverage is. And we really value the time that we have in the classroom. Just yesterday, we spent an hour just going over the game plan for this week and exactly what it's going to look like on the whiteboard. We put out video showing exactly what we're looking for, what we're going to, what we need to defend, what we need to attack. And then we went outside and walked it. It was freezing. It was 6:30 at night. They had sneakers on, and we just walked it yesterday. So now they have an idea what today's going to be about, because it's a short week with our recovery time, and we need to maximize our time. Today we need to hit the field running. But again, the off season, we do a lot of that work in the classroom. They have notebooks where they're writing this stuff down. We don't waste time. We maximize. We work it. And again, it's about development. It starts in the classroom, and we try to translate that to the field.
Walking, jogging, running. Bring me into that, your process at CBA to walk through something before you can jog through it before you hit the ground running.
So I related to a science class. So you have a lecture class, and then you have your lab. And what we'll do is we'll sit the kids down in the classroom, and they're going to take notes, and we're going to instruct, and they're going to learn our terminology and our vocabulary. And then what we're going to do is we're going to go on the field, and that's our laboratory, and we're going to put all the things together. We're going to mix everything together. And I just use those type of things. It helps us in terms of the learning process from part to whole. It also helps us in critical situations in a halftime where we need to make adjustments. So where we can sit them down, they understand our structure, they understand our vocabulary, and then we have to put it into effect in a game. So everything that we do relates back to what we need done. And, hopefully the way that we're doing this will help them later out in life with whether they're coaching or they're in business meetings, or even if they're just working as a family, coming together as a family plan. We're using football as our vehicle to try to teach these guys how to be able to organize and just manage life.
When I was at CBA and I just had my 20-year reunion, consistency of success in the classroom, consistency of success on the field. I didn't think about who we were playing. I didn't think about what day it was. They just won. And if it wasn't a sectional title or a fight for a state title, it was a strange year. To see all of that success while I was at school, and then to see adversity and now get back to success and get back to this kind of consistency of, okay, CBA is going to be that team. I know that you're very humble. I know that you say every season you got to put the work in. We're not where we want to be. But if you can look back at the last 20 years with me, from me being a student to now talking to you as a broadcaster of 20 years, what is going on with CBA football? Is it in a place that is better than it used to be? Is it right on par where it used to be? Do you feel like we're finally in that culture, environment, consistency? Where are we with CBA football?
As an outsider, I coached at two other programs that had to defend and go against and compete against, Christian Brothers Academy. So, as an outsider looking in, CBA's, they're winning. Okay, if that's what you want to be able to look at, everybody wants to look at the end product and winning, but not understanding what it actually takes to make that. So, from an outsider looking in, maybe, but from myself right now, I'm never happy. You can ask anybody possible. I believe I caught myself smiling for about 15 seconds. I think there was like 6 or 5 minutes left in the game, and I caught myself smiling, and I was like, nope, it's not over. I literally scolded myself for smiling because I know, I got my mind immediately on the next game and what we needed to do, and I knew it was a short week. So my mind, I rested once. I was happy once many, many years ago, and we ended up not being very good for several years. So I'm not going to be happy or rest until I hand this program over in great shape to the next head coach. And I work tirelessly. My staff works nonstop. I'm blessed to have these guys. The time they take away from their families. I'm humbled that they want to be able to hang out with me that much. And but no, I just want to make sure that these kids get the best out of us. These kids deserve the best out of us, and not everything's going to go great. And I understand that. Not everything's going to be 10-0, 11-0, whatever it is right now. But I want to make sure that we provide the best opportunities for these kids. Not everything's about winning. You got to fight through adversity. Our practices are all about adversity. It's not pleasant, but they're coachable kids. We're fair to these kids, and I just want to make sure that CBA is in a great spot, and we go 1-0 today.
There's a sentence before I let you go. There's a sentence that you always say, and you mean it wholeheartedly. And you say it to your coaches. You say it to me. You say it to your student athletes. If something comes up, you will always say, take care of your family. Take care of your family. You give us a hug, take care of your family, let me know how it goes. Family first to you, you live it. And as much as you work tirelessly, when something happens and it has to do with family, you are the first to say that is the most important thing in life. And I'd love for you to expound on that.
So you win or you learn. And I haven't been a great father. I haven't. Um, my career was more important to me at many levels, and that was wrong. I was wrong, and I'm gonna get emotional here, so I apologize.
That's okay.
I could have been a better father. I could have been a better husband. Um, I mean, I wasn't awful. Don't get me wrong, but I lost time with my kids. I missed games. I missed dance recitals. I was, and I don't want my staff to do that. Um, and I refuse to let my staff do that. So through my learning, I want to make sure that these guys know, hey, your family's important. Don't do what I did. And you know, I'm lucky to have a wonderful family. I'm lucky to have, my kids are fantastic. But what I missed, I can never make up. I can never recover that. And once I realized that, it was like it was an uh-oh moment. And Bruce Arian, I heard a statement from him one time saying, "Hey, if I find out that you're missing something from your family, you're fired. You're absolutely fired." Um, Coach Kaz, when I was, told me a story once, and a similar story that he had with his son, and the two of them were just driving in a car, and it was just one of those moments that he had, Joe and was talking to his father and had a question. He had realized that, wow, I haven't been here for him. And, it's those moments that head coaches have on you that kind of change you. And that conversation with coach at that time changed me. And I want to make sure that my coaches and my players have those times with their families.
Well, I appreciate, as always, your candidness and your honesty. And I don't like in these moments when we're picture in picture because I appreciate our hugs and I want to give you one. So I owe you one. I do want to tell you in everything because we are very reflective, right? And we learn from things. And you and I are very similar in a lot of ways. Today is yours, right? It's yours. So whatever happened up until this point, and this is a hard lesson that I had to learn, but whatever happened, whatever you're upset about, whatever you didn't do, whatever you did do, whatever you did do, but you didn't do right, in your opinion, or whatever, you got the opportunity to make a change today, right? You have your family, you have your kids, you have the people that care about you. You have the chance today to be the Casey Brown that you want to be. I have the chance today to be the Dan Tortora I want to be. And I can tell you this, and I want you to know this because I know we're very self-reflective, and I feel that, and I appreciate that from you. But you know what I remember a year ago? I remember a year ago that I was in the Dome, and the only reason why I wasn't in the Dome this past weekend to see your game is because exactly what we're talking about. I don't have children that are human beings. I have my dog, but I've been traveling everywhere. And I hate putting her in her kennel and leaving and then coming back and then leaving again and then coming back. So I said to myself this weekend, because I was actually supposed to be in Jacksonville, I said, I'm run down, I'm tired, I'm going to spend time with my dog, I'm going to spend time with my family. I am going to be the dad to her that I want to be. I am going to sit and spend time with her. But you know what happened last year? Last year, when this title game happened for Section 3 Class AA, CBA played CNS. I interviewed CNS. I wanted to interview CBA. I was there to talk to both. And there was nobody on the field. And I remember looking for you and I was going to text you. And all of a sudden, here comes Casey Brown walking out. And you looked right at me. And you said to me, I wanted to talk to you. And I'm sitting here like, well, you came out here to do something else? No, I wanted to talk to you. You came over, you spoke to me, we did the interview, then I told you about my life and I told you about some things that have been going on, and you looked at me and you said, are you doing okay? And I said, no. and you grabbed me and you hugged me and you put my head in your chest and you told me you loved me. So for every day that you feel like you weren't enough, that moment last year has helped me to get to where I am a year later today. So thank you for that, Casey, because I needed that. And your true friends, your true family are the people that show up when you don't ask them to. And what you did for me that day will truly continue to make me a better person every single year. Because that moment is a moment I will never forget. It's a moment where somebody put everything to the side to take care of somebody else. So thank you for that.
You're welcome. You're welcome. And thank you. Thank you for everything you do. I appreciate your friendship.
Absolutely. Well, listen, Casey Brown, work to do. A lot of fun to be had this weekend. Game coming up. CBA Syracuse heading on the road out to Vestal, and you can go and support Christian Brothers Academy by heading out to Vestal as they take on Elmira Southside on Saturday the 18th at 6 p.m. Eastern Time here in upstate New York. Casey, as always, I appreciate you, and as always, I can't wait to give you a hug. So thank you. And by the way, everybody, I have some just CBA football attire for the team that I was given by a one Casey Brown. So I know what I'll be wearing this weekend.
Go Brothers.
Thank you, Casey, for everything. Truly, I appreciate you. I love you. Take care.
Love you too.
That coming here from Casey Brown here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, where sports truly meets that. Get us set for our conversation with Mr. Dukes Knutson in Blessings in Baseball right after this. In these unique times, there are those in our community that give us a sense of normalcy and positivity. Pizza Man on 50 Oswego Street in Baldwinsville has been here for you for over 35 years and is here now. Call 315-638-1234 or order online at pizzamanbeeville.com to bring those familiar tastes into your home. And remember to come see our monthly on-site broadcasts centered around the community and our Baldwinsville Bees. Pizza Man in Baldwinsville. Any way you slice it, they are always here for you. Looking for your next ride? Look no further than Great Lakes Honda City, located on 7140 Henry Clay Boulevard in Liverpool, New York. Serving our community for decades, their new and pre-owned vast array of vehicles are available to you Monday through Saturday on site. To search from home, shop at GreatLakesHondaCity.com. Call 315-365-5576 to set up an appointment. That's 315-365-5576 for Great Lakes Honda City, 7140 Henry Clay Boulevard in Liverpool, New York. Great cars, great people, Great Lakes.
Our corporate purpose at Chick-fil-A is to glorify God by being faithful stewards of all that's entrusted to us and to positively influence all those who come in contact with Chick-fil-A. And what became increasingly clear from our success in Cicero is that people love Chick-fil-A. And also I think we recognized that, we had a great opportunity to grow the brand and grow our platform. I felt incredibly grateful when I was selected to be a Chick-fil-A operator. I think what it's meant for me, what I've come to realize on a very deep level is that this is a calling for me. It's not a career, it's not a job. The Lord called me to be a Chick-fil-A operator and to use these restaurants to glorify Him and to positively influence other people. I'm blessed. I'm very blessed.
Head to Chick-fil-A Clay on 3974 State Route 31 in Liverpool, New York. Welcome back here to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. Proud to be here with you every Monday through Friday from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. Eastern Time. And joining me picture in picture is my third guest of today. And I am always happy to have this gentleman on the broadcast with me, Mr. Dukes Knutson, joining me here on the show. And Dukes and I, picture in picture for Blessings in Baseball. It is our segment And with baseball, I know that baseball is never truly off, but with baseball taking a couple months, because that's literally all they take anymore, December and January, it used to be that if you played to the end of the World Series, to game 6 or 7, you played it on my birthday of October 21st, around that time. Now they go into November, so December and January, and then we're back at it in spring training in February. So Dukes and I are going to take a little break from this segment. Obviously, Wake Up Call continues Monday through Friday from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. Eastern Time. But Blessings in Baseball will take a few weeks, and then we'll be right back. And because it's bi-monthly, before you know it, we'll jump a couple weeks, and Dukes is back here with me. And I don't like saying goodbye. I say see you soon, and I definitely value every single second I have with Dukes, because his belief in God above everything else, his faith and his positivity, which I texted him yesterday, I need to hear it, especially this week. I appreciate so very much. So Blessings in Baseball is exactly what it says. It's God and faith. It's talking about the most important things in life, morals and values, and it also speaks on this nation's pastime. 2023 Major League Baseball season wrap-up, free agency, and the fact that both Rookies of the Year just so happen to be our guys. So with that being said, Mr. Knutson, how we doing?
We're doing great. You know, Dan, when you were talking about how late the season goes, I had the extreme blessing to attend the 7th game of the World Series in 1965. And that game was played on October 14th. So you can see how the season has gradually expanded now it goes into November.
Yeah, and it's absolutely crazy. And I joke with my buddy Ross Turetsky, who is a baseball coach in Pennsylvania at Luzerne County Community College, of building up a program that had stopped for a little bit. And he's a huge Yankee fan, but he will send me a message at the end of the season. I'll look at my phone, and it'll say only 100 whatever days or whatever it may be until the season comes back. And I always tell him it's fake news. Well, I have never wanted a season to come back quicker than this upcoming season. Being a Diamondback fan, walking out of this season with pride and my head held high, and literally my hat with me everywhere I go. I haven't taken my hat and my sweatshirt out. I've worn them pretty much every single day wherever I've gone. I wore my hat and my sweatshirt to a Syracuse basketball game that I was covering in the media. I was like, I don't want to take it off. So I have never wanted the season to start faster than now, which I don't want time to go by fast. I love the holidays, but I am impatiently waiting for my Diamondbacks. And I have to tell you this, Dukes, because I think you saw it, but I had never been to the World Series, never been to Arizona, never been to the western part of the United States, never been to Chase Field. And my dad and I checked every single one of those boxes off, as when I was in Charlotte doing ACC Media Day for men's basketball, I was watching the game, and I said to my dad, because my dad was watching, my mom watching, like everybody was watching, I said, if they make it to the World Series, we are going. And they made it, and my buddy called me, my buddy Brendan Murphy, appreciate the call, Murph, and then I talked to my dad on the phone, and I was looking up tickets. And he said, you buy the tickets, I'll take care of the rest. Like, you get that, I'll get the plane, all that good stuff. So I get the tickets. We go to game 3, which is the first game in Arizona. Flew out to Arizona the day of the game, landed, had like 4 hours before the game, went to the game, experienced everything. And for the first time in my life, I wasn't the only Arizona Diamondback fan walking down the street. It felt like I was raised in the wild, and then someone brought me to like a community of human beings, and I was like, wow, these things look like me. So to experience Arizona, to experience the positivity, I spent so much money, and honestly, I would spend more, because I wanted to buy every World Series, every Diamondback anything. Love their logo. My dad is a Yankee fan, but has now told me openly that he will support the Diamondbacks every game that they don't play the Yankees. And so I'm coming to you today, Dukes, having gone to my first World Series. So you and I can both say that we've done something that so few people will ever do in their lifetime. And I'm eternally grateful to God that He helped to make it all possible.
Amen. I can relate, buddy. Like I say, I got to the seventh game of the '65 World Series. It was a heartbreaker. My Twins lost to the Dodgers 2-0 in Game 7. Sandy Koufax bested Jim Cott, and I got to every home game for the Twins in '87 and again in '91. So, been to those World Series games, and of course, working for the Rays. 2008, my first year with the Rays, got to the World Series. So, yeah, you talk about blessings. I've had them.
Yeah, and you've been able to experience that, and obviously with Tampa Bay of all teams and their consistent success, not occasional success. So when you come off of this season and obviously follow the Rays all the way through to the wild card, and there's the press box manager, what did you like about the 2023 Major League Baseball season from your seat in the press box at Tropicana Field to looking out at the grander scope of the league?
Well, you and I have talked about this many times on this show. It's all about relationships. To be honest, Dan, I look at the playoffs, and that's just a bonus. Had we not gone to the playoffs, I'd still be thrilled with this season, just because of the relationships that developed each and every year, not just with the Rays personnel, but with the visiting clubs, and it's just so much fun to be a part of this in a small way. But the Rays are getting a lot of accolades for their success over the years. I was just watching on MLB TV earlier today, and they were talking about how all the Rays personnel that have been hired by other organizations now. The latest being Peter Bendix going to the Marlins. So it's a compliment to the Rays, and it's just a great organization to be a part of.
Yeah, and like you said, a great organization to be a part of. I have gotten to experience it over many years' time and to see what it was like to be there 11 years ago and 11 years later, and the way I was treated 11 years later, still positives. And honestly, and I told you this on the show, when I sat in the seat in the press box to your right, I didn't feel like I had ever moved. It didn't feel like 11 years had passed. As soon as I put my butt in the seat, I felt like I had been there forever. And the Rays came out when the Diamondbacks came out. So, there's some history to that and some connection and some love for that. But you and I have a lot to celebrate this year because Corbin Carroll, who I do not know personally, wait for it, yet, because I believe when you manifest it, you believe in it and you tell God. So, Corbin, you and I don't know each other personally yet, yes, but we will. We will, and you'll be on the show, and we'll have fun, because I'm going to tell you something that just happened, and this is why God is amazing. There's many reasons, but and it's funny that it's 10/29, because 29 years ago, I became a Raptor fan in the NBA. 29 years ago, I decided the Toronto Raptors are going to be my team for the rest of my life, and it was large in part to Damon Stoudemire. Damon Stoudemire, my favorite player from when I was 9 years old, wanted to talk to him, wanted to interview him, wanted to just be around him in some way, shape, or form. Well, there's over 330 jobs in Division I men's basketball to be a head coach. And my buddy sends me a message, Ross Turetsky, who I had mentioned before. He sends me a message in the middle of the day a few months ago. And it said, Damon Stoudemire hired. Now, I cover the ACC, and I've covered the ACC for at least a decade. I cover all the schools there. I interview all the players, or I interview the players and the coaches. So Georgia Tech is inside of the ACC, and of all jobs Damon Stoudemire could have been hired to, he got hired to be the Georgia Tech head coach. And I knew then for certain that I would be interviewing Damon Stoudemire because I interviewed Georgia Tech. And my birthday on October 21st happened. And on October 25th, I got to go to Charlotte, North Carolina, and walking in the room is my 29-year wait to interview. One of the top 2 people in my life that I want to interview, that I've known for years. These are the top 2. And Damon Stoudemire, I got to interview him once, got to interview him again. Then I walked outside the interview room, shook his hand, told him personally that how much I appreciate it and how much it means to me. He gave me a bunch of hugs. Then we shot a video of us on camera together talking. And I told him that I own probably more Damon Stoudemire cards than anybody on the planet. So 29 years in the making, Dukes, and it was all worth it. So you and I both know, to go off of what we've been saying, it truly is all about relationships. And the faith in God that 29 years, which seems insurmountable and crazy, we don't want to wait a month. But I waited 29 years, Dukes, and you know what I would say to you after waiting 29? It felt like nothing, and I'd do it all over again.
Sure. Well, again, that's we're just bringing out that point again. And I found out too, Dan, that it's not so much about us seeking a relationship with somebody as much as it is who the Lord brings into our life.
Yeah.
I've spent the last couple of weeks mentoring and witnessing to a young baseball pitcher from the University of Wisconsin in Superior. Never met him, but a mutual friend from FCA put us in touch with each other, and we've had 4 Zoom meetings now in the last 2 weeks. And I am just coveting that relationship with this young man as much as you might, covet the relationship with Stoudemire. It doesn't, I think I shared this story once with you before, but my first day on the job with the Rays, I was sitting in the press box, and a gentleman sat down next to me. I was kind of busy, so I didn't pay a lot of attention. Well, then I look up, and it's Jim Palmer, Hall of Fame pitcher. And I was admittedly starstruck. I said, oh my gosh, Jim Palmer sitting right next to me. And it's because of the Lord that is pretty much gone, that starstruck. The relationships I've developed within the Rays organization, doesn't matter if it's a star player or if it's one of the fan hosts. They are so meaningful, and it's so much fun to be a part of people's lives.
And so for Dukes and I, we're going to take a quick step aside on Wake Up Call and Blessings in Baseball. And speaking of relationships and what we're excited about, unanimous Rookies of the Year just so happen to be connected to the both of us. And we'll talk about it right after this. Avicoli's, located on the corner of Route 57 and Wetzel Road in Liverpool, New York, has been your trusted neighbor for decades. Located just steps from Liverpool High School, we're happy to have the Liverpool Warriors on-site, on-location broadcast at Avicoli's through Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora every single month, featuring student athletes, coaches, and administration throughout the year from Liverpool High School. Head out to Avicoli's today on the corner of Route 57 and Wetzel Road in Liverpool, New York, open Tuesday through Sunday for lunch, dinner, and drinks. We'd love to see you out there, and of course you can call them at 315-622-5100 for takeout, delivery, and catering. That's 315-622-5100, and also find them on myavicolis.com. That's myavicollis.com. Having peace of mind when you're out of town that your furry-loving friend is safe and sound means taking them to Canine Campground, because we all know that when it comes to the love of our pets, it goes well beyond the call of duty to make sure they're safe and sound. Right, Lily? So take a ride to 242 Johnson Street in East Syracuse, New York, and see Canine Campground and where your dog will be staying, in the classic cabin, the executive cabin, the grand cabin, or of course the luxury cabin, because if you know Lily, you know she loves luxury. Now you don't have to wait to the last minute to find a family member or a friend that'll take your dog for a few days. Call Canine Campground at 315-299-4013. That's 315-299-4013. Their drop-off and pickup times are Monday through Sunday. Check K9campground.com for more information. That's the letter K, the number 9, and campground spelled with a K.com. K9campground.com.
When you're going out of town, bring your dog to Canine Campground.
PB&J's Lunchbox, the food truck that you love finding all throughout Central and Upstate New York, now has a street-side cafe. So when you're craving their traditional favorites as well as their out-of-box amazing menu items, you can now head to 663 Old Liverpool Road in Liverpool, New York. Located just minutes from the highway, the Thruway, Destiny USA, and Onondaga Lake Parkway, PB&J's Lunchbox Street-Side Cafe is there for you Monday through Saturday from 9 a.m. to 7 p.m., serving breakfast, lunch, and dinner all throughout the day. Get breakfast for dinner, dinner for lunch, whatever you fancy, including their award-winning grilled peanut butter and jelly sandwich. Find them at 663 Old Liverpool Road in Liverpool, New York. PB&J's Lunchbox, where we love to know what's in your lunchbox. This is a special message from 317 at Montgomery restaurant owner Joel Carpenter. Open Tuesday through Saturday for your dining pleasure on 317 Montgomery Street in Syracuse, New York.
We wanted to be a part of the resurgence of Syracuse. We saw a lot of money being put into bringing people back downtown and thought that, we'd like to be a part of that. I love putting together a good dish where people see it first, they fall in love with it, and then it tastes just as good as it looks. We want to provide the best food in Syracuse that we possibly can, and we want you to leave here talking to your family, your friends about what you had to eat first and foremost, but also our service, and to walk out feeling like you're part of our family. I work out in the front of the house a lot, and I love walking to every single table, asking them how everything is, and people looking at me and smiling and saying, this is the most amazing short rib I've ever had. This is the most amazing filet I've ever had. And Donna is great. Sarah's amazing. Thank you for coming over and talking to us. And then them just being truly happy for the experience that they've gotten.
317 at Montgomery Restaurant, part of the fabric of downtown Syracuse, located on 317 Montgomery Street in Syracuse, New York. Open Tuesday through Saturday for a unique and memorable dining experience. Welcome back here to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, hanging out with you where sports meets life, and appreciate you being here. I am here today and bi-monthly with my good friend Dukes Knutson, who joins me for the segment Blessings and Baseball. And we have the opportunity to speak on exactly that. And we're going to be speaking on a bunch of different things before we wrap up here today with Mr. Knutson here on Facebook.com and YouTube.com, both /WakeUpCallDT, and on WakeUpCallDT.podbean.com. Dukes, Rookie of the Year, unanimous vote for your guy Gunnar Henderson of the American League for the Baltimore Orioles, and a unanimous vote for my guy in the National League, Arizona Diamondbacks, Corbin Carroll. Your thoughts on being able to celebrate this? And by the way, folks, the thing that I can't do yet, but someday, that Duke sent me was a picture of him and Gunnar. So congratulations on Mr. Henderson. Your thoughts on seeing somebody, like you said, it's all about relationships, seeing someone you care so much for winning Rookie of the Year.
Well, what really I appreciate about Gunnar's success is that the baseball world gets to see what I've seen in Gunnar for several years now. When Gunnar first signed with the Orioles, I was the team chaplain for the Orioles rookie team, and that's when I got to know him. And this was before I knew anything about his baseball prowess. And from the first day, Gunnar is one of the most impressive young men you'd ever want to meet. Um, this award that he got last night is obviously uh, it epitomizes his success in baseball, but I want the world to see what a humble young man is, and
Yeah.
that's an outgrowth of his faith journey. He's a very strong Christian man, and yeah, it's just to me, he's always just going to be the Gunner who I first knew before he had all this success. And it was fun to see him when the Orioles played here in the Tampa Bay this year.
And how did you cross paths with Gunnar? I mean, you talked about being the chaplain, but how did it all kind of come about? Do you remember that first moment of meeting Gunnar?
Oh yeah. It was at a we had a Bible study. The Orioles spring training, they house their rookies all at a hotel, and so we had I think it was a Sunday evening Bible study, and uh, I don't remember how many guys were there that particular night, but they were all rookies. It was their first time meeting them, and I guess the name Gunner isn't the most common name, and so I remember that his unusual name, and but again, what struck me was every time I tease him to this day because everything is yes sir, no sir. Um, he's so polite, so respectful, and that hasn't changed. His success has not changed him whatsoever. Uh, so yeah, that was, and then he was very loyal. Came to all our Bible studies, and as he progressed through the minor leagues, I obviously don't see him as much as I did that first year when I'd see him on a regular basis. But we've always stayed in touch, and now that he's reached the big leagues, I do get to see him when the Orioles play in Tampa Bay. So that's a real blessing.
And to meet, like you said, through God, to meet through faith, and to see somebody win such a prestigious award that doesn't hide that, right? Doesn't hide their morals and their values and their faith in God. What can that do for today's world to have somebody like Gunnar have a spotlight right now?
Well, absolutely. That's what I mean when I say that I'm excited that the world now gets to see the same Gunner I see, because he's got that platform. And I've told the players I work with, I've told them numerous times that my number one prayer, I want them to be successful in baseball, but that is so secondary. I want them to be a major league Christian before they become a major league baseball player. And but when they do achieve this kind of success, it does give them a platform, an opportunity to share their faith to many different people. Most of them are I think careful, Dan might be the word, to not come across as proselytizing and trying to preach during their interviews. But I don't know. I hear interviews with certain ball players who I don't know, and I look at them and say, I'll bet that guy's a Christian, just by the way he's presenting himself. But Gunnar is the real thing. He's such a joy.
And That's the thing. I mean, when you see baseball fans, you see Orioles fans, you see sports fans, and they're reading stories about him winning Rookie of the Year. To you, it's different, right? Because of that personal connection, it's different, and that's what I love about having conversations like this is to celebrate something like that. You celebrate it in a different way because it's not, wow, he's a really good ball player and I'm an Orioles fan or I'm this or I'm that. It's saying that's Gunner. I know Gunner, and those text messages or sitting down and having a conversation, 8 months ago or whatever it may be, you have that unique connection to him. And in this world, the legacy that we leave are the connections we make and the way that we make other people feel, what we bring into their lives, what they bring into ours. So for you, as an extension of that, I want to congratulate you because this is a special moment for you because of knowing Gunner the way that you know Gunner, which not a lot of people can say, and that's really amazing. And I hope when you put your head on the pillow tonight, you smile and say, you know what, that's pretty cool, because as much success as he's having, you know more about the man behind the music, so to speak. And I tell people all the time, we have great interviews on the show, but if you heard the stuff off the air, it's even better because it's about that personal connection.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And I'm reminded of scripture in Matthew where it talks about, do not store up treasures here on earth.
Yeah.
And yet that's what we gravitate to. We do work for treasures on earth, but it says, no, instead store up for treasures in heaven. And that's why I'm involved in Fellowship of Christian Athletes and Baseball Chapel and the things that I do, is because those are the eternal treasures that we're trying to get these athletes to realize that these are far more important than a Rookie of the Year trophy, far more important than a World Series trophy, far more important than the Hall of Fame. I'm more concerned that you have a desire to be in the Hall of Faith rather than the Hall of Fame. And again, that's not to say that any of those awards are wrong, but it's just it's the perspective. It's the perspective, and I'm quite sure that Gunner today is very happy about the Rookie of the Year award, but he's much more concerned about his relationship with the Lord and his relationships with his family, his teammates, his friends. Those are far more important to him.
I love that you said the Hall of Faith, more important than the Hall of Fame, and I'm going to keep that one with me. There was something I put up yesterday, and I put up stuff that, I see and I read and I hear that touches me, that, helps me get closer to God, and I put it up for other people. So hopefully they can maybe do the same thing or start a relationship with God. And anyone that I sign are the ones that are coming from me that I've written myself. And then there's other ones that I share. I shared this one. Never forget 3 types of people in your life: who helped you in difficult times, who left you in difficult times, and who put you in difficult times. I think those are always something to really reflect upon, and not to bash people or condemn people or anything like that, but to have the conversation of knowing where you're at and knowing who was there and who wasn't there, because we talk about all the time, Dukes, what we put in our body, right? You are what you eat. And so we think about the food, right? If we eat all sugar, if we eat a bunch of salty stuff, if we have a bunch of fast food and we're not cooking at home. But you are what you eat is also what you put into your soul. The people that you spend time around, the things that you listen to, the things that you watch. You're ingesting everything that your eyes and your ears are privy to. And whether or not you want to believe it, it does seep in. And I, when I was married years ago, and it wasn't an equally yoked relationship, as you and I talk about so much, and hence why it didn't work. I'll never forget that she said to me, I don't like drama. I'm not a dramatic person. I just love to watch it. And what I learned about that is if you love to watch drama, you are a dramatic person. And when she would watch Real Housewives, and listen, no knock, ladies, make your money, but when she would watch Real Housewives, I would be sitting there kind of subject to falling asleep to it. And I remember having heart palpitations because these women, I'm trying to fall asleep, and these women are screaming at each other. They're rich. They're fighting over, you didn't text me on Friday at 3 p.m. How dare you? And they're like flipping tables and they're screaming. And I just remember saying to myself, I can't watch this. It's not a me versus you to my wife at the time. It was me saying, I cannot ingest this. I cannot ingest this negativity. I cannot ingest this privilege, this consistent fighting, this dramatic behavior. I won't take it in. And so I think it's very important for us to remember that we are what we eat. And in connection with that, to remember the people that are there for you in difficult times, that leave in difficult times, and those that put you there. Because I don't know if we, and I'm talking about me as well, I don't know if we always pay attention to the signs that God provides when we're trying to build our own path separate from the one that he is trying to build for us.
Well, again, you brought up another very important biblical principle, and that just what you said. It goes way beyond food. What we put into our hearts, what we put into our mind, that's who we become. I'm always just saddened by the fact that the number one websites that are visited every year are pornographic sites. And so many people believe that, oh, that's not a big deal. Well, in my mind, it's a huge deal.
Yeah.
Because I truly believe that affects your attitudes, your beliefs, your values. Yeah, so I'm with you 100%. You got to be very careful of not only what we ingest, not beyond food, but who we hang out with. I mean, are we going to be hang out with similar friends? In Ephesians, it says, "Bad company corrupts good morals." We've got to be careful, and we as a society, we seem to downplay those principles.
Absolutely, and I think that you are the company you keep. And I tell people this, and they say, well, how, Dan? And I say, well, listen, if you were hanging out with a bunch of strippers and you said, well, I'm not a stripper, but you dressed the same as the strippers and you hung out with the strippers and you went to the same places that the strippers go, if somebody sees a group and they see everybody, they say, okay, well, that person must be a stripper, right? Everybody dresses up like a cop. Like if you dressed up like a cop and hung out with a bunch of real cops, people are going to say, well, that looks like a cop. So the company you keep, and I tell people this all the time, I'm very much paying attention to the friends that I have had over time that tell me that they're genuine, but then when they're around other people, they can be very fake. And I see like they have this half of friends where they're acting this way and they're being fake and they're white collar and they're better than everybody else. And then they have the other friends where they're blue collar and they're real and they're genuine and they care and they're hard work. And so I saw that, and I remember kind of just making a note and putting it in the back. And one of my buddies, because we had a mutual friend, he said to me one time, we were all at an event, he said, I can't do what he does. You and I aren't like that. And what he was saying was this person was talking to rich people, and he was talking to the rich people as if he were rich and trying to like he was changing himself and changing his behavior. And in that moment, I kind of felt like if me or my other friend had walked up to him, he would have ignored us because he was having this conversation. And years later, that person ended up ruining our relationship and basically telling me, I've taken everything that I needed from you, and like I've been a leech. I've taken all your energy that I need, and now I'm on to the next one. And I went back to that moment and I said, remember that party, remember that time, remember what your gut said. And so you are truly the company you keep. So when people tell me, you know, I'm a single guy and I have friends that are great people, and I'll talk to one of the girls I'm friends with and I'll say, hey, do you have any friends? And she'll go, nah, they're all crazy. And my first reaction is, then why are you friends with them? Because I don't have that relationship of going, oh yeah, I mean, I got a bunch of guys I'm friends with. Well, how are they? Well, they're all terrible. They're just the worst people in the world. I don't do that. You know, I surround myself with people that challenge me, people that ask me to be the best that I could be. They're constructive to me. They help me. They love me. They're not yes people. You're one of them that's here in my life. And I value the company that I keep because it will make or break you, and it can take you off the path you want to go on and put you on another one without you even paying attention. I want to hit these 3 Bible passages because they all mean something to me, and I put them on my story. Ephesians 3:20, I will give you more than what you asked for. Exodus 14:14, I will fight for you. Be still. Jeremiah 29:11, I have plans for you, which a lot of people know that one. I want to get your thoughts on these passages going off of what we're saying, Dukes, but I really, really want to go first to the middle one. I will fight for you. Be still. Which I also have Psalm 49:10 in my house, which says, be still and know that I am God. Because we have this problem, and I have this problem of being still and waiting on the Lord. And I would love to get your thoughts about that.
Well, let me just quickly ask you, why do you have a problem with that?
Because
You have a problem with being still?
I have a problem with the, you know, why don't I have this yet? I want this now. I've waited a long time for it. I feel like I've waited long enough, so I'm just going to go do it. And God, please come with me, but I'm going to drive the car. Where God's going, let me drive. And I'm going, I'm 38 years old. I feel like I should be driving at this point. And he's saying, you need to be still. And I'm learning to be still, is what I'm saying.
Again, when I visit with baseball players are experts at knowing how to be physically trained. Even though it's the off season now, most of them are heavily involved in a weight program. They know how to train physically. Yeah. A life changer for me in my spiritual walk with the Lord, Dan, occurred when I started to realize how important what most people, I think, call as quiet time with the Lord. And I find, especially with some of the young ball players, that very few of them have what I would call a quiet time with the Lord. And what I mean by that is a scheduled time, just like you know at 9 o'clock you're going to go to the gym and work out. So where on your agenda for that day is your quiet time? Is it at 10 o'clock? Is it 11 o'clock? Is it at night? What time is your quiet time?
Yeah.
And again, you know, most ball players, and I would dare say most Christians, probably don't have it scheduled. Well, many years ago, I decided to make that a practice, that every day I'm going to have a quiet time. It started out, you know, just a few minutes, 10 minutes maybe. And it's grown. And what has worked for me is I'm an early riser. I get up at 4:30. I go to the gym. It opens at 5, so I work out from basically 5 to 6, and then pre-COVID I would stop at a church in downtown Sarasota where I live and have my quiet time. I would have 90 minutes of quiet time sitting in that church, just the Lord and myself. And I would do some Bible reading. I keep I probably can't see. I keep a prayer book,
Yeah.
notebook with tons of prayer requests in that, and so I have 90 minutes of quiet time with the Lord. And as I said, that was a life changer for me, and that's where I think be this concept of being still
Yeah.
with the Lord developed, and that the outgrowth of that is patience. That's one of the 9 fruit of the Spirit: love, joy, peace, patience, and that relates obviously to being still. Wait on the Lord. Be patient. So I think it's just like a physical workout. You have to work at being still. You have to work at waiting on the Lord. And when you realize that He is asking you, and you feel you're becoming impatient, just stop, be still, put some music on.
Yeah. And I'll tell people this: there is certain music that and I call my dad because he likes the same type of music. I said it just takes me. And people that have come to know me, they're like, "Yeah, you're the sports guy. You do sports. You're a broadcaster." One of the first things I ever did in my life was sing, and that was 35 years ago, at 3 years old. So music to me is where I live. It's what speaks to me. It's the Mitchell Tenpennies. It's the Peebo Brysons. It's the Luther Vandrosses. It's the Phil Collins. It's the Journeys. It's the Bon Jovis. It's the Rent soundtrack. There's so many things that take me in that place where I need to be and to sing. So when people say, do you sing in the car? Do you sing in the shower? I sing everywhere I go. And I also believe that, and I might have heard this somewhere, probably did, but that angels speak to human beings through song. And there was also the notion to be careful of the messages that you hear, because they said that Lucifer had like a harp or something like within him, like he was so beautiful the way that he sang, and so to be careful of the messages that you listen to, which go back to music. I mean, I know that there's a bunch of different genres of music, and there's a bunch of different singers and songwriters. There's songs that if you listen to them and they're violence charged or they're sex charged and all that stuff, if you listen to that music, then write down how you acted that entire week. Then listen to Christian music, write down how you acted. Listen to country music, write down how you acted. Because this music that we listen to, again, what you ingest, what you take in, what's in your mind, what's in your heart, what's in your soul, what's in your body, that music does, because I found that as I've tried to become closer to God, and as I have tried to fix things that I think I needed to be better at, and things that maybe I broke, I have found my detachment from certain types of music in direct correlation with what I am trying to accomplish with God. Because I'm looking for God's message at all times. And if there's a song I'm listening to that does not spread God's message, it is taking me off of my path. And it doesn't have to just be Christian music. It has to be genuinely good, positive things for your soul. And I have found one of my favorite songs is about a breakup. And I tell people, I used to listen to these songs and it would bring me back to a breakup, and I get depressed and I get sad and I get down. And one of my favorite songs is I Get the Picture by Mitchell Tenpenny. And it's a song about being with a girl, having a relationship with her. And then she dates somebody else and you didn't think it was over, but she couldn't be holding this man tighter in the picture that she's in. she's trying to show me that she is way in love with him and she is so done with me. And that song that used to probably would have hurt me in the past, it made me think about certain people. I listen to that song almost daily or every couple days because I feel it, I love it, it's genuine, it's good, and it's a reminder to me that I'm growing. And I think that one of the true awesome tests of life, Dukes, is when we can listen to something or be around something or be reminded of something that pained us, because we can't control what other people bring up and what they do. And when those moments happen, that thing that used to cause us pain, when we hear it, we smile. And because we know deep down inside that we've healed from it. And I think that healing is a beautiful thing when someone brings up an ex or brings up a traumatic moment in our lives for whatever reason, and it doesn't hit us. It doesn't poke us in the chest like it used to. I think that's a beautiful sign of growth.
Well, you and I share that in that music is a big part of my spiritual walk. And quite frankly, there are so many incredible Christian singers, Christian music in different genres, rap, whatever.
Yeah.
Rap is not my thing, but there's so much Christian music, and that's all I listen to. And maybe that's not a healthy thing, but for me, like I say, it works. I try to play a song each night as I'm getting ready to go to bed. My favorite right now is "The Goodness of God." And the chorus is, "All my life you have been faithful. All my life you have been so, so good. With every breath that I will take, I will sing the praises of God because you are so good to me." And what a way to try to fall asleep at night. You're just absorbing how good God is, and it's back to what we were talking about earlier. What goes in comes out.
And I, going off of what you just said before we close things up here with Blessings of Baseball and this episode inside a Wake Up Call, I mentioned Mitchell Tenpenny. There's things that I'll do. You and I talked about changing words if they don't make sense to us, changing something in the Our Father of saying, lead us not into temptation. Well, why would God lead us into temptation? And I realize, and if you're in church with me, when I pray, I take longer when we're all saying the Hail Mary or the Our Father because I say please. I find it disrespectful to say, God, do this, 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 and this for me, thanks. So I say, please forgive us our trespasses. Please give us our daily bread. Please lead us out of temptation. And with Mary, I say, please pray for us, now and at the hour of our death, and hopefully in between too. I say, Mary, pray whenever you can, but I appreciate it at any time, not just the beginning and the end. So, because I want God to know and God's people to know that I am not coming to you saying, I want. I'm coming to you saying, could you please help? I would appreciate it. And so we talk about changing words. Mitchell Tenpenny did something that I feel like I would be very apt to do in a song. And what he did was he was talking about this person that he's fallen in love with, this woman that he cares about. And he says, you're going to drive me crazy with the heaven you put me through. Because we talk about all the time, don't put me through hell. Oh, the hell that you put me through. And it's the only time that I've heard somebody say the heaven you put me through. And so I change things that I say. When somebody says break a leg, I don't like saying that. So they'll say give them hell, and I'll nudge somebody and say give them heaven. So I would love to end this episode of Blessings of Baseball with a thing called Ingredients to Success. It's proudly presented by Avicoli's on 7839 Oswego Road in Liverpool, New York. And I would like Dukes to be here with me for this. Fantastic food, wonderful people, great community. It's down the road from Liverpool High School. You can walk there from Liverpool High School or from Avicoli's. and we do our Liverpool Warriors high school broadcasts every single month, celebrating the student athletes, coaches, and community of Liverpool, New York, right here at Avicoli's. So many thanks to them. The ingredients to success. The topic today is, how do we bring them heaven? And I would love for you to expound on that, Dukes. How do we, quote unquote, instead of giving them hell, how do we bring them heaven?
Well, first of all, in almost every single text that I send to any of the baseball players I work with, I usually put that right at the end of my text. Give them heaven. Give them heaven. Same reason that you just expounded on. We're so used to ball players saying, give them hell. Why would anybody want to give anybody, even your worst enemy, hell?
Right.
No, give them heaven. Give them heaven. And the best way to do that, in my mind, Dan, is to live the word. Don't be just a hearer of the word, but be a doer of the word. Be an example to people. They'll see Jesus in you more than they'll hear Jesus in you. So just by the way we conduct ourselves and lead our lives is the best way we can give them heaven.
Yeah, and I appreciate that. The way we conduct ourselves, living the word, keeping that with us. And I find myself daily seeking people who speak God, seeking people who you can feel like God is moving through. You could tell he is moving through. So I seek that. I seek the word. I seek people that are spreading positivity and serving the Lord. And when you seek, what did I just learn? What you seek is seeking you. What you seek is seeking you. So what you go after might come after you. So you go after bad stuff, it might run after you. But you go after God, what you seek is seeking you. So with that being said, congratulations to your guy Gunner, my guy Corbin. Congratulations on an awesome baseball season that I got to culminate with the first ever trip to the World Series and to the West with my dad. And thank you, Arizona Diamondbacks, for being incredible. Thank you, Tampa Bay Rays, for bringing me back in the building. I look forward to doing that this upcoming season. And I'm so ready for baseball, y'all might see me at spring training. So I might be swinging a couple. I don't know. But Dukes, as always, we swing for the fences here when it comes to serving the Lord. And I appreciate your love, your generosity, your friendship. And so very much, I thank you for being a guiding light in my life.
Give him heaven, Dan.
Give him heaven right back. Take care.
Love you.
Love you too. That coming from Dukes Knutson here on the show once again on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. What a perfect way to end it. Give him heaven. We'll be back right after this, where sports meets life.
Hi, this is Amy from Mother's Cupboard, home of the Whole Frittata. We are open daily 6 a.m. to 1:30 p.m. For takeout orders, call 315-432-0942 and tune in to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora for our monthly food challenge and try our Wake Up Call signature menu item available 7 days a week. Here at Mother's Cupboard, we are Central New York, and it's our honor to serve you.
Ma and Pa's Kettle Corn and Popcorn Factory remind us that every day is worth celebrating at 201 7th North Street in Liverpool, New York. Open Monday through Saturday in-store and always online at maandpaspopcorn.com. Serving our Central New York community and beyond, order anywhere, anytime at maandpaspopcorn.com. Stop in to get a tin at Ma and Pa's on 201 7th North Street in Liverpool, New York to get your half-price refills for the rest of your life. Come to Ma and Pa's for your holiday gift giving for family, friends, employees, and clients. And remember, for fundraising and events, to call 315-450-6272. That's 315-450-6272. Ma and Pa's Kettle Corn and Popcorn Factory. How corny are you?
This is Jimmer Sikowski, owner-operator of Chick-fil-A Cicero, 7916 Brewerton Road in Cicero, right in front of the Home Depot. I had a deep feeling that God wanted me to do something bigger with my life and to help people, help others. I kept putting Chick-fil-A in my life, and I realized as I was going through the franchise selection process that positively impacting the lives of others was really core to what we do here at Chick-fil-A. First of all, it starts with the food. The food is brought in fresh daily, and we bring in local produce. We prepare to order in the kitchen. We hand bread our chicken. We hand spin our milkshakes. It's great food. It doesn't taste like fast food. I think the second thing is the way people feel when they come in a Chick-fil-A restaurant. It's different. We try to treat people with intentional kindness here, which is very different and deeper than good customer service. And so I think it feels remarkable for most people to come in a Chick-fil-A restaurant. And then lastly, the impact that we try to have in the community is very different. It's a big part of the expectation of every operator of a Chick-fil-A restaurant is that they're actively engaged in their community, they're a leader in the community, and they're making a difference. When they realize that what we're striving to do is to shine a little light in their life, that's a very, very different experience than you will have in any other quick service restaurant. And it's that remarkable experience that I think people will emotionally connect with.
Carvel DeWitt, it's what happy tastes like. Do you know why? Because we make ice cream. Creamy, rich, flavorful ice cream. Not yogurt or iced milk like some of our competitors. Ice cream. Fresh, by hand, daily. For the calorie conscious, we have something new for you. Our new Carvelite. Same great flavor, creaminess, and texture of our regular ice cream with only 35 calories an ounce. So whether you want an ice cream cake, flying saucer, dasher, carvalanche, hard or soft ice cream, we will satisfy your craving with our fresh, handmade regular or new Carvelite ice cream. Carvel DeWitt. It's what happy tastes like.
The Wildcat Sports Pub in Camillus, New York is located on 3680 Milton Avenue in the Home Depot Plaza. It is your family-friendly sports bar and restaurant. Folks, some sports bars aren't family-friendly. Some family-friendly restaurants are not sports bars. The Wildcat Sports Pub in Camillus, New York is proud to be both. It is that marriage that you've been looking for years. The Wildcat Sports Pub is your home base for your sports bar and restaurant needs, games for the kids, indoor and outdoor activities, and enough things on the menu to come back every single week and get to try something new. They're open Sundays from noon to 8 p.m., Monday through Wednesday, 11 a.m. to 11 p.m., and Thursday through Saturday from 11 a.m. to midnight. For reservations and party information, call 315-487-2222 for the Wildcat family-friendly sports pub and restaurant.
GG Cards and Breaks. Like, comment, subscribe.
GG Cards and Breaks coming here for you on 639 Delmar Place in Syracuse, New York, right off of Teal Avenue, open 7 days a week. Love that the sports card shop's open 7 days a week because I want to go there all 7 days. And they are right there for you, like I said, on 639 Delmar Place in Syracuse, New York, Monday through Saturday from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. and on Sundays from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. GG Cards and Breaks has singles, packs, graded cards, boxes. They also are the only place that I know that has every Major League Baseball, National Football League, and National Basketball Association team. If you're a fan of the Oklahoma City Thunder in the NBA, New York Yankees in MLB, and Philadelphia Eagles in the NFL, that's the place for you. If you're a Raptors, Diamondbacks, Jaguars fan like me, that's the place for you. Whoever you like in the NBA, MLB, as well as the NFL, they have those boxes set there for you to go and look through them, find those cards that might be numbered. There could be autos in there. There's a bunch of great things in those boxes. They're not just a base card that you're looking for when you go to those boxes. And if you want to buy packs and boxes, they're constantly cycling in hockey, soccer, men's and women's soccer, by the way, AEW, basketball, football, as well as baseball. And their cards are incredible. The cards that they find, that they put out there to sell, the individuals, are absolutely awesome. I found some great patch cards there. If you're a fan of sports cards, this is your home. If you've never collected sports cards before, I am telling you something's going to speak to you when you go into GG Cards and Breaks. Head over there any day of the week, 639 Delmar Place in Syracuse, New York, and make sure that this week, on Thursday, November 16th, you join us at the Wildcat Sports Pub. You see on the screen how they're next to each other? Well, the Wildcat is going to be hosting GG Cards and Breaks Trade Night this Thursday, November 16th, 6:30 p.m. Eastern Time. For the first time ever, we're doing it at the Wildcat. So come get some awesome pizza, some awesome food, buy, sell, and trade your cards. Have fun with the community. And Danny Tome, the owner of the Wildcat, is a huge sports card collector. So this is going to be a great event for all of us. I'm going to be broadcasting live, and I can't wait to see you out there. With that being said, I want to thank you for being a part of today's show. I want to thank you for always being a part of the show. And I know I greet you with, I always say similar things every show. And it's not because it's like a cut and paste for me. It's because I really do hope you're having a good day. And I really do want to thank you for being here with me. And I want to thank you for spending some quality time and listening about God and joining those conversations about God and about family and about faith and sports and all these things that we love in our community here in Central and Upstate New York. And, I want to thank you because I love this city and I love this community. And at the same time, we're reaching people all over the world. And I want to hear about your culture and I want to know how you're doing. And, to the United Kingdom, to Spain, to Italy, to Canada, Mexico, to Russia and China and Germany and I think Turkey. I mean, everybody that we have interacted with that has gone to our website, listened to our show, watched our show, read an article. Thank you so much. Up and down the East Coast, the Midwest, the West Coast. Thank you. I greatly appreciate, and I believe that there's people in the Middle East too that have interacted with us. So, I hope that you're having a wonderful day wherever you are in this world. I need you to know a few things. I need you to know that God loves you. I need you to know that you are what you surround yourself with and what you ingest in your life, not just in your stomach. You are a beautiful person. God does not make mistakes with his paintbrush. Just because someone doesn't believe in you or they tell you that you can't doesn't mean that you can't. That is their opinion. The only way that somebody's opinion becomes reality is if you let it. The only way that somebody's opinion of you becomes reality is if you let it. Go out there, be who you are, regardless of the praise and regardless of the negativity. You don't live your life on the waves of praise, and you don't live your life being underneath the wave of negativity and being chastised. You live your life on knowing that you can surf. You're on the board, okay? Sometimes you're going to fall. Sometimes you're going to ride a wave. Sometimes the waters are going to be choppy. Sometimes they're going to be great. Sometimes the waves are going to come in and it's going to look wonderful. Other days you're going to be waiting forever, seemingly. But I'm telling you this right now. Don't let positivity from others or negativity from others dictate who you are to yourself and what you do. You have to be who you are consistently. With or without positivity, with or without negativity, you have to consistently always be moving forward, taking steps forward, being good to yourself and being good to others. The only thing you can control in this world is you and your consistency. Who you are and how you feel about yourself and what you do and chasing your dreams and going after what you want should never be contingent on what people say or what they don't say, what people do or what they don't do. Okay? I'm telling you that right now. It's just not just the negativity. It's the positivity too. No matter what the positivity is, what the negativity is, how many people are on this side, how many people are on that side, you should be the same person every single day, no matter what people are saying about you or trying to do to you. Love yourself, love others, be good, surround yourself with positivity, and know that you got this, okay? Life is so short. I'm 38 years old. I remember I was 21, it felt like 5 days ago. So spread your love, live your life, be a light to the world, be a light to yourself. Be kind, be loving, be compassionate. Stop saying you're gonna and do it. Go after those dreams. Live that life. Ask that person out and understand that life might say no. That person might say no. That job might say no. And that is not a no because you're bad. It's not a no because you're not good enough. It's a no from God because there's something better on its way. And you have to trust that. And it's hard. And sometimes it feels darn near impossible, but you have to trust that God knows better than you do. Because I wouldn't be sitting here right now owning my own business if I listened to myself. If I listened to myself and what I originally planned junior year of high school, I would not be running my own business. So I shouldn't say I wasn't listening because I did listen to myself to run my own business. What I'm saying is if I had rested on what I thought was supposed to happen 21 years ago, I wouldn't be where I am today. So yes, I'm not saying don't listen to yourself. I'm saying listen to yourself. Listen to God within you. Hear his voice and trust it. Trust it. Because I'm doing what I wanted to do, but I'm doing it far different than what I had anticipated. And I'm a firm believer in that. That God will give you even better than what you could have imagined, even better than what you brought his way. So just trust in it. You're not alone. God exists. Love exists. Good people exist. Great people, I should say, exist. And this world is absolutely what you make of it. Listen to yourself and trust yourself and be able to ad lib that you are not always going to be right about something. You know your dreams, you know your aspirations, but you may get there in a different way. You may get there older, you know? What I'm really trying to say through all of this is build a relationship with God, bond your voice with God's voice. Don't keep trying to go in the opposite direction because you're never going to succeed. Work with God, trust yourself, and know that not everything is when you want it to happen. Not everything happens exactly how you want it to happen. But if you believe it, you can do it. You can achieve it. I'm telling you, I am living proof that you can be exactly what you want to be. And if there is not the right job out there for you or the right opportunity out for you, you can create that opportunity. And that's what we did here. Dan Tortora Broadcast Media was created by God and me. I co-signed with the big guy. This wasn't here before. Nobody made it and handed it to me. Nobody handed me a bag of money. Nobody told me this is everything to do to be a successful broadcaster. Nobody told me these are all the avenues to take and this is what you do on social media and this is this and this is that. A lot of this was built just God and myself. An entire company built off of belief in myself and a faith in God. And a faith in myself. So I'm telling you this right now, folks, wherever you are at in your life, whatever you don't have, whatever you want, whatever's bothering you, get a relationship with God, hold on to him tight, be a good person, and chase those dreams. And I'm telling you, you're going to catch even more than what you could have ever imagined, and it's going to be beautiful. And I look forward to meeting you and you telling me that someday. Tune in to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora every Monday through Friday from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. Eastern Time. YouTube.com and Facebook.com, both /WakeUpCallDT, and on WakeUpCallDT.podbean.com. Once the shows go live, they hop into the archive. Amazon Music, Audible, iHeartRadio, iTunes, and Apple Podcasts, Player FM, Podbean, Podchaser.com, Podvine, Spotify, TuneIn, YouTube. Search Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora on any one of these outlets, or one word, Wake Up Call DT. And in the case of YouTube, at Wake Up Call DT, so that you could find us and download us, save us, and make sure when you find us on any one of these podcasting platforms or video platform, in the case of YouTube, make sure you click subscribe or follow so that you get updated and you know when things are going on and you don't miss anything. So it's an easy thing to do. Go to the sites, go to the apps, click your follow, click your subscribe, and you'll be connected to us all the way through. And I look forward to being connected to you. A big time thanks to our incredible partners that we have here in the community. Carvel DeWitt, Mon Pa's Kettle Corn and Popcorn Factory, the Wildcat Sports Pub, GG Cards and Breaks, Chick-fil-A Cicero, and Chick-fil-A Clay. Canine Camp Dog Daycare, 317 at Montgomery Street. The name of the location is the name of the restaurant in downtown Syracuse. Avicoli's, Great Lakes Honda City, Pizza Man, Canine Campground Dog Boarding, PB&J's Lunchbox, and Mother's Cupboard. And I do want to give a very special welcome to North Star Nutrition and Nutrition Wave of Cicero. 2 awesome locations with fantastic teas and shakes that can help you lose weight, help you to be more healthy. They taste, this is the thing. A lot of us want to lose weight, want to get fit, want to look good, but we also like sweet things and things that taste good. Well, Nutrition Wave in Cicero and North Star Nutrition in North Syracuse, they bond the it tastes good and I want to take care of myself, and they bring it all together. You no longer have to choose. By going to North Star Nutrition and Nutrition Wave in Cicero, you have the opportunity to have stuff that tastes great and take care of yourself and put better things into your body than maybe what you are right now. North Star Nutrition on 628 South Main Street in North Syracuse, and just a few minutes down the road, Nutrition Wave on 6197 New York Route 31 in Cicero, New York. And of course, we are the exclusive multimedia marketing partner of your Lemoyne College Dolphins, and it is under promise, over deliver. That's what we do here with Wake Up Call and with anything that I do in general. Under promise, over deliver. AD and DT coming to you the first and third Wednesday of each month with Athletics Director Bob Beretta and myself, Dan Tortora. Every second and fourth Wednesday, we bring you the Dolphin Dive, diving into stories of student athletes, coaches, administration, future Dolphins, and alumni. So make sure that you check out everything that we have done with the Dolphins by subscribing to youtube.com/wakeupcalldt. And when you do that, you'll find our playlists, and we have our Lemoyne Dolphins playlist that you can click on and see our videos consistently grow and check out all of the content that we have amongst all of their sports, as well as President Dr. Linda Lemura, Athletics Director, as I mentioned, Bob Beretta, and all of the wonderful specials that we get to do. So including the chair of the board at Lemoyne College, Pete DeLora, speaking on his company CAD Dimensions and his connection to Lemoyne and the move to Division I, which the board supported in a massive way. So you can check out all that content exclusively on Wake Up Call. And of course, you can also find the Lemoyne page on wakeupcalldt.com under exclusive partners. For more information, go to LemoyneDolphins.com. And as always, go Dolphins, fins up. The Bryan and Stratton College Bobcats of Syracuse come to you every single month with the Bobcat Buzz, featuring student athletes, coaches, and administration. Over the years here, the Bryan and Stratton College Bobcats of Syracuse have gotten exposure in a way here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora that you have not found and will not find anywhere else. The Bobcats, with their men's and women's soccer teams, getting ready to hit the road and vie for the right to a national championship, which they already have hardware of, and they're looking to add more to Bryan and Stratton College of Syracuse. In 2021, both teams won the national championship, and they're looking to get out there and do it again. They've played in the title games. The men's side has played in 7 straight title games, and they're looking to make that 8 and try to bring in another championship. The women winning in 2021, they played in the title game this past year, and they're looking to do that once again. They are the number 1 seed in the national tournament on the women's side, and the men are the number 2 seed nationally. Men's and women's basketball has started up and had great success out of the gates, and baseball will be going into its 2nd season, as well as the uptick of esports on the Bryan and Stratton Syracuse campus. So a lot of great stuff happening. Find all of our content by subscribing to youtube.com/wakeupcalldt. Once you do that, you'll see our playlist that says BSC Syracuse, and you can click on that for the Bobcat content as it continues to grow throughout the months and the years, God willing, coming up. And of course, you can get more information by going to syracuse.bscbobcats.com, and you can get the Bobcats on wakeupcalldt.com under the exclusive partners tab. Go Bobcats. With that being said, here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. I want to thank you for being a part of the show. I want to thank you for all that you bring to the broadcast just by showing up. Big time thanks to offensive coordinator as well as wide receiver and DB's coach and alum of CBA Syracuse and Syracuse football at Syracuse University. Big time thanks to a member of the CBA Syracuse football staff, Bruce Williams. Much love and support and respect for all he does in the community. And love, support, and respect as well to the head coach of CBA Syracuse for their football program, Mr. Casey Brown, for all that he brings to the table and for the way that he leads with faith, family, and love, which is far beyond wins and losses. And I am so grateful and thankful that he's worked to build good young men, and he has worked in love and worked in faith and worked in doing good things. And now we're seeing all of these victories happen on the field, but he has been working to win in life with these student athletes and coaches for a very long time. So it's great to see a good man win. God bless you, Casey. I love you very much. And a big time thanks to more love here. Love to Bruce, love to Casey, and love to Dukes Knutson, my partner for Blessings in Baseball. Our bi-monthly segment every other Tuesday. We're going to be taking a few of these a couple months off as we get set for spring training, so you won't hear from Dukes for a little while, and then he'll be right back. And Dukes Knutson, love him so dearly and so very much. Blessings in Baseball with Dukes Knutson, the press box manager of the Tampa Bay Rays. Shout out to Gunnar Henderson for his faith and his kindness and his humbleness and goodness, and for winning Rookie of the Year. God bless for that. And to my guy Corbin Carroll for winning Rookie of the Year on the other side with the Arizona Diamondbacks. I hope you all have a wonderful, wonderful day. I'll see you at the Dome for Syracuse Colgate. Syracuse is going to try to stop the bleeding. They've lost to Colgate 2 years in a row, and they're going to try to end that tonight. And on the other side of it, a lot of respect for the wonderful Colgate Raiders team and their staff and everything that they have brought to the table. Matt Langle, their head coach, and Colgate in general has been wonderful to have here on the show, and a ton of respect for them. So this is going to be a good game, better than people anticipated over these last couple of years. We're going to have some fun tonight at the Dome. Adrian Autry's first crack at Colgate as the head coach of the team, and I'll see you there. And beyond that, looking forward to a lot of great things coming up, including our trade night, GG Cards and Breaks. Come and bring your sports cards, or just come to buy, and if you want to bring your sports cards to trade, you want to bring them to sell, you want to bring them to buy, any of that is welcome. Buy, sell, and trade. And if you don't have any cards and you kind of just want to see what it's all about, then come out too. You don't have to bring anything with you. We'll all be out there, GG Cards and Breaks and Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, in partnership with the Wildcat Sports Pub. We're bringing you a sports card trade night to remember this Thursday, November 16th from 6:30 to 9:30 p.m. on site at the Wildcat on 3680 Milton Avenue in Camillus, New York. So we'll see you out there. Very excited for that. Thank you, Bruce. Thank you, Casey. Thank you, Dukes. God bless to you all. Facebook at Wake Up Call DT, X at Call DT, Instagram at Wake Up Call _DT. And we cannot leave this show without telling you this. God bless you all. Please minimize your stress as much as you possibly can, and always do your best, because your best is good enough for the big guy, and it should be good enough for you. I'll talk to you soon. Be well and stay safe.